Welcome back to Dishing at the Dollhouse, featuring Kimmy
and Robin.
Our hope for this show is to get you super excited about making vegan food that not only tastes good, but is also super cute. And what are we making today, Kimmy?
We're going to make a festive treat, mini pesto holiday treats. Okay, so we're going to start by preheating the oven to 350 degrees, and then we're going to coat a 9x13 pan with some oil.
And after that, we start making the batter, and the way that we start is using 2 cups of non-dairy milk. I'm using almond milk because I try to find the cheapest possible option in life, which right now for me is the Whole Foods brand almond milk in the refrigerated section. And we add a tablespoon of vinegar, and we mix those just a little bit. And this is supposed to recreate buttermilk.
So it's gonna curdle up a bit.
Yeah. It's curdling.
It is actually.
Just take my word for it. Okay, so while we wait for that to turn into buttermilk and do its thing, we're going to mix the dry ingredients together. And you have to sift them because sometimes you have little lumps in things and you don't want any lumps. 0 lumps. So this is 2.5 cups of flour and 2/3 cup cocoa powder, a 1/2 tablespoon of baking soda, and 1 teaspoon of baking powder.
That sounds right.
And I guess there's a couple ways we can sift. We can do it this way. This way is a little messy. I don't know if you guys can see that, but there is some dust coming out of there.
It smells really good.
Or you can do it this way. Actually, it would be good to have a spoon so we could break up all the clumps. I have especially clumpy cocoa powder. Yeah, do it. Stick your hand in there.
This is what I do.
Yeah.
I'm too lazy to dirty more dishes, man. It's great.
It's true. And Kimmy washes her dishes by hand because she's very good at washing dishes. I stick mine in the dishwasher, and my dishwasher is terrible at washing dishes.
They last longer if you wash them by hand.
I think that you're totally right because my dishes don't last long.
Yeah.
I think
you know what, my sifter that I have at home is one that my dad had when he first left his house. So
and
it was 1980 something.
Wow.
Or 1970 something, 60 something.
We're finding out how old. We just do the math, you guys. You can figure out how old we are by doing math. Okay, so this is all the dry ingredients, and you just whisk them until till all the color is all the same. Oh, by the way, if you're ever reading a recipe and it says blah to all the dry ingredients, sugar doesn't count. I know it doesn't make any sense.
I'm really glad that Robin is saying that because as someone who doesn't really bake much, I did not realize that. It seems dry to me.
I usually try to use a see-through bowl when I do this so I can see if there's any
clumps,
stuff that isn't mixed.
That's good.
Okay, so that's pretty good. Alright, so now we're gonna add some stuff to our buttermilk. And things we're gonna add are 1.5 cups of sugar. Plop. Is this right? It looks like not that much,
cup.
but it's right. 2/3 of a cup. Does that look like 2/3 of a cup? Very misleading.
And then Robin has this beautiful, fancy stand mixer. If you're like me and don't have one, you can also just use a regular bowl and just mix it by hand. You can work on your arm muscles. It's great.
I have a dog that I walk that pulls all the time, so my arm muscles are fine. Okay, so we're going to mix it. And this time we're going to mix it more than last time because we want the sugar to all dissolve. So that's going to be going for a while. Hopefully it's not too loud.
Robin even has cute kitchen ingredients. She was asking me if I had a cute sifter that I could bring over, and I said, do people have cute sifters?
I feel like they probably
do. Any of you have cute sifters? Can you tell us where to get one?
It's definitely not this one. That once was white and now has turned yellow. Probably from putting it in the dishwasher.
Because it's been loved.
Yeah, that's exactly the color of love. Is that the color of love in your mind? Because I'm pretty sure in my mind the color of love is way prettier.
Cuter? Yeah, okay.
So I can tell that it's ready because of the sound. That might not be something that anyone else can tell. Can you tell that the sound changed?
No, I definitely cannot.
Okay, so the way that I can tell is that the sound changes from I can hear the sugar on the bottom scraping when it mixes, and now I can't. So that tells me that it's ready. But for anybody at home, I would say 3 minutes, 2 to 3 minutes.
And also if you're mixing this by hand, just, make sure the sugar is mixed in pretty well, that you're not seeing clumps of it.
If you're doing it by hand, I bet it's easier to tell.
Yeah, it is. It'll just be a nice uniform mixture.
Okay, so should we start adding the dry ingredients?
Yeah. So we want to do this part slowly.
Yeah, and maybe just half at a time.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. So we're going to add half of our...
Maybe I can...
Yeah, we'll do half of this for now.
Okay, that's tough. Yeah. Okay.
And then we're going to slowly bring the mixer back on so it doesn't make a big, huge mess.
So these stand mixers are great. I highly recommend them. However, the parts that they offer to go with them are quite expensive. So if you want what they call the shield, is a thing that goes around it, it's like $100 extra, which is ridiculous.
I'm telling you people, if you're like me, just
$3 towel right here.
Or a spoon and a bowl. It's great.
All right, so here it is.
Oh, you have a cute towel. It has cupcakes on it. I don't know if you can see. It's so cute.
Ah, can you see the dust?
Yeah, I got it.
That's why we need the shield. Otherwise, you're just
the homemade shield.
Yeah. So we need our $3 shield.
Yeah, look at it.
It probably doesn't work as good as the $100 one, but every time I use the homemade version, I feel richer. I feel more rich.
Do you know how much veggie go you can afford for that?
I know.
Right, yeah.
Every time I'm eating fries every time I do this.
It sounds totally worth it to me.
Alright, I'm gonna peek.
So we don't want to overmix this.
Okay, it looks good to me.
Okay. So we're gonna pour the rest in, the other half.
Let me lift this up. Do you want help?
Yeah.
Can I help?
I do, yeah, help me. Maybe you should make this with a friend.
Help me. Also, this bowl we're using is a little giant because the bowl that I normally use is smaller than this, but it was dirty and I was too lazy to wash it.
Or you could just do it with a friend.
Yeah, okay. Keep going. Can I pat it? No.
Yeah, wait. Yeah.
That's like a whole bite of cake or something.
Yeah, a whole bite. I mean, we don't want to miss any. There's a whole bite right there.
I'll look that up later when the camera's not rolling. Alright, so lock this into place. Put on my shield. Oh! Don't do that at home, kids. Start off low. It's like 5 bites. That's like a whole cake.
This would also be a fun thing to make with kids. It's a good kid-friendly activity to do.
And messy. Which kids like making messes.
Yeah, kids like making messes, yeah.
Okay, you know what we need is a spatula so we can scrape the sides because my little explosion that I just had got some cocoa powder on the side. So we're back with a spatula that's not at all dirty right there. Okay, just pretend that's not there. And so this is the kind of spatula I meant, not the pancake kind. This is called a baking spatula.
Pancake kind?
You know the kind you use to flip pancakes?
I don't actually make
And
pancakes.
also, what about the kind to get cookies off of a cookie sheet?
People use spatulas for that?
What about the kind
I think we should...
to get pizza off of a baking stone?
Oh, there you go. Okay, we're in business. Okay,
I knew I could find a good analogy
scooper. The metal one.
The metal one,
Okay.
but they're not always metal.
Mine is. Okay.
So that's called a cooking spatula. This is called a baking
one?
spatula.
Okay, that's actually a good learning opportunity for me. Thank you.
Okay, so I scraped the sides. You know what I'm also going to do though is I'm going to scrape all the way to the bottom because sometimes little clumps of dry will nestle on the bottom. You don't want that either.
It smells really good, you guys.
It does smell really good. Last time I made this recipe when we were testing it, I left some of it out. I don't think we need the shield for this. No. I left some of it out. Macchiato helped herself to a lot of chocolate cake.
Macchiato is Robin's dog puppy.
We had to go to the vet so that they could induce vomiting, which is apparently what happens when your dog eats like 5 cupcakes worth of cake.
So make sure whenever you make anything chocolate that your dog can't get to it, so you don't have to do that. Yeah.
And
it's poisonous to dogs.
When I went back to pick her up at the end of the vet appointment, which is $350 in case you're wondering, they said, oh, her puke smelled delicious like chocolate cupcakes. That just reminded me of that when Kimmy said that this smelled really good.
Okay, so we're gonna now put this in a baking pan. We're gonna try and have it evenly as possible, so nice and smooth on the top. And we're gonna bake it for 35 minutes. Or you can do a toothpick test. Make sure you grab a toothpick and insert it in the middle and make sure it comes out clean.
And sometimes I'll insert it into like 3 places.
Yeah.
The middle definitely is the most important.
But a few spots.
But you might have an uneven oven like I do, in which case sometimes I'll do a few.
Yeah, it's a good idea.
Not just because I like poking things, like voodoo doll cake. Okay.
Although I think she does. Okay, we're gonna get this in the oven.
Okay.
Okay, so once we take this out of the oven, we're actually gonna wanna put it on some cooling racks, and we're gonna wanna let it cool for at least 4 hours. You want it to be good and cool before you start cutting it or anything.
And one of the ways that I can tell that it's completely cool is I lift it up and I feel the bottom on the very middle. Because that's the part that I feel like takes the longest
Definitely.
to cool off.
Sometimes it'll feel cooler around the edges, but not in the middle.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're gonna start by cutting 3 of each size.
Yeah. Do you want to trade?
Yes, I do.
All right. So I have this biscuit cutter set that has 4 different sizes. This biggest one is 78 millimeter, and then 68, 58, 48 millimeter. And I like these biscuit cutters a lot, but if you don't have biscuit cutters, you can totally use whatever you have around the house, like jars, glasses, etc. And these biscuit cutters have a scalloped side and a straight side, so don't use don't use the scalloped side for this project, but it's good for other projects. I had other biscuit cutters before I had this set, and when you would press down, it would hurt your hand.
Oh, I have
They were
biscuit
like
cutters
sharp.
like that.
Yeah, I don't like them at all.
And these ones are cute, actually. I like how they're colored.
No. Yeah, you can get these on Amazon. There's a link in the recipe. There's a whole recipe for what we're making that's in the description below. So I made 3 of that one. Now I'm going to do 3 of the next size because we are eventually making 3 mini cakes.
And Robin's trying to space these so they're fairly close together so we don't have very much cake waste. I'm sure I will help her eat the cake waste that is left, though.
Having a Kimmy in your life, it's just so great. You
is.
never have cake waste.
Or any waste of any kind, actually.
All right. This is good, actually. We're doing a very good job. I think that we will have some extra cake scraps.
That's good, because I'm hungry.
Yeah. Can we all eat the cake scraps instead of leaving them for Maki this time?
Yeah, I think we should eat all the cake scraps, like, immediately after.
I've never allowed to have cake in my
dogs are
house
harmed
again.
in the filming of this episode.
We wouldn't be very good vegans if we were feeding chocolate to dogs every episode.
We love our dogs.
Sometimes.
We always love them, we just don't always like them.
I love everyone else's dog. Okay. So, as you can see, we have some extra, which is actually kind of good because if something happens,
You have extra to make more if you need to.
things happen.
Things happen.
Let me tell you.
Okay, so we're gonna carefully remove all of the little cakes with a spatula, and we're just gonna set it on this parchment paper. Oh wow, that turned out really nicely. When I make cake, it turns out a little more crumbly than that.
Gluten-free cake is hard.
No,
You're
even when
doing it
I
more
just make,
challenging.
no, I just suck at baking.
That is false.
This is why I come over to Robin's house and eat her baking.
My house is always open to you and your baked good needs.
Fantastic.
Ugh, I hope this cutting board's going to be big enough. We may need to
Yeah, we can
transition.
I
Oops.
will,
Oops. Oops.
We're making a little bit of a mess, but that's
Oops.
okay. I mean, we all know that baking makes a mess. Like, it's not.
Yeah, it's not us. It's not us, it's them.
And we're not perfect people, and we're okay with that.
Screw the perfect people. Do you know that song?
No, but I want to now.
We'll play it after
Sounds
this.
like a good running song, actually.
It's pretty good.
Oh, that one's like really perfect.
I wish they were all that perfect.
I mean, they're all pretty perfect.
It's okay. We're gonna.
This one looks a little flatter on the others.
Oh, that wasn't a very nice comment. Well, we can show you guys what we do when they're imperfect. I would say that one is going to need a trimming.
Eat them.
Actually, yeah, we could redo them.
No,
if they're not
no,
good.
no.
But last time
they're actually really good looking.
Last time I trimmed. Oh. Oh wow!
It's good. No,
I got too comfortable in my britches
good.
Over here.
No, they actually all look really good. I don't think we need to cut. I don't think we need to recut any of them.
Okay. Well, I think we'll do some trimming later. But for now, we're gonna put these in the fridge because we want them to chill. Mm-hmm. Because when your cake chills a little bit, I feel like it's a little bit easier to work with. Not quite as crumbly, not quite as delicate, not quite as
firm up.
Folly a party in your handsies.
Folly a party. I like that.
Yeah.
Scientific.
So yeah, let's chill it.
Okay, so we're gonna do that. Okay, so we're gonna start by dividing the frosting into 3 bowls.
And the recipe for the frosting is in the link down below.
You can also buy frosting now.
You can. Just make sure when you buy frosting that you buy enough of it, because when we practiced this recipe, we may not have made enough frosting.
Yes.
And it kind of sucks when you're working on a big cooking project and you don't have everything you need.
That's why we had a practice round.
Yeah. Good thing for you guys that we had a practice round. You're welcome. Another thing that we learned during our practice round is that you should make sure that each bowl has the same amount in it. Right. Because we ended up with a lot of pink and not that much of the other colors when we did ours. So I have a kitchen scale, so I measured these by weighing them.
If you don't have a kitchen scale like some people, I may not have one, you can just use a measuring cup. That's fine.
So are you saying you may not have one, or you don't?
I definitely don't have a kitchen scale. No.
All right, let's see how we're doing here. So I made this last night, not this morning. And I can kind of tell that it's not like the perfect consistency. So all I'm going to do is just like give it a really good stir to kind of fluff it up a little bit more. And what else is good? Oh, another thing that's good about making stuff in advance is that you can focus on decorating and not be rushed. Because I feel like I'm always baking at night, like after work.
Yep.
And
so prep work ahead of time is always going to help with that.
Yeah. And then also when you're decorating in daylight, which is always going to be better because you can see everything you're doing a lot better. The lights in my kitchen aren't great. I don't know about yours.
I'm lucky. I have a lot of natural light in my kitchen.
That's nice.
Yeah.
So another thing that's good about baking the cake is that it takes 4 hours to cool. That's like not an exaggeration.
You have some time to make frosting or go to the store and buy frosting. Whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever you feel like.
But I will say that when you are making it the night before, you want to make sure when you wrap it, I don't know if you can tell, but I like pressed the saran wrap in there because I don't want any air to touch this.
Yeah, so it should be completely
so you might normally wrap things like this where the saran wrap is taut, but I recommend
frosting. Yeah, because that'll also help it not dry out as much.
Okay. Do you want to stir this one?
I do. Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna start coloring this one if that's okay with you. All right. So I'm already getting messy. I'm gonna use these little.
I'm not going to touch your food coloring after last time.
So here's the thing about food coloring. There's a lot of different options. I use these Wilton gel colors. And the reason that I use these is because a little goes a long way. You need 1 drop only, basically, which is nice. The bad thing is if you can see on the blue one, it's like exploding.
Yeah, and when you get it on your fingers, it doesn't come off. And you might have to go to work the next day with smart fingers.
Did anyone say anything about
your smart fingers? Yes, they did.
What did they say? Did they ask you if you had been...
may have called me Smurfette for the day.
Oh, that's not the worst thing in the world.
I guess, yeah. No, it's fine. I work with customers, so it's a little weird to go into work with blue fingers, but you know.
I do know. Been there. Okay, so I'd only used 1 drop. 1 single drop. And I always add my food coloring only 1 drop at a time.
So this is a good lesson I learned during our practice round because I don't have this type of food coloring and the food coloring I have doesn't go a long way, or I don't know, it's not the same anyway. So I just was trying to put in a bunch of drops and then it was way too much. So like Robin says, try a drop at a time because you can always add more. You can't really take away.
Baking with Robin isn't easy.
Baking with Robin is a good life lesson.
She's very judgy. Okay. So I think I'm gonna end up adding 3 drops of pink. We'll see. I'm using 2 different shades of pink, but I think you could get away with I think we just used this one shade last time.
Yeah, we did, and it was fine, actually.
Which is called pink. This one's called rose.
I don't think you need 2 different colors of
you don't.
pink.
You don't need, but I mean, I used
Robin's kitchen is more well stocked than mine, that's for sure.
I used the rose to make a cat cake yesterday, and I just feel like it was such a nice pink, so I wanted to try to include it in this.
That's a really cute cat cake.
So this is the color we're at now. I think it's too light.
It is, yeah, actually. Maybe another one?
Yeah.
That's better. That's much better.
I feel like it was darker last time when we made it. I think this is more frosting. Because remember we
it
didn't make
is,
enough
it is
last
more
time.
frosting, yeah. This is
So
more
maybe
frosting.
that means we need more
Okay, we might,
drops. So far we're up to 3 drops. 2 drops of pink, 1 drop of rose.
Also, the lighting in here is much better.
Yeah, that's
And
true.
last time we did it at night, and I think it might have also just looked darker.
That's true. I mean, we are making pastel trees. This is very pastel.
It is, yeah.
I think one more. What do you think?
I was just gonna say that, yeah. I think we should do one more.
Okay. So, for you people at home who might be making this, obviously you can color these whatever color you want. If you're into traditional green
And red.
and red
You can
Christmas
do your
trees,
thing. We wanted to try something a little different. And cute.
and cute. And we like pastel colors.
That's the perfect
It's
color.
getting better, right?
Mhm. I like that color, actually.
So this is 4 drops. I might update the recipe so that it says exactly how many drops to use in case people want to know. What do we think?
I think that's perfect.
What do you guys think? All right, we can always add more later.
Mhm.
Should we do another color or should we do a cake?
I think we should, let's do all the colors first and then the cake.
Okay.
Yeah. So let's do green next.
Okay, so if you are making your frosting and your cake the night before and then decorating the cakes the next day, this is also a step that you can do the night before.
Mhm.
And you either can wrap it with the saran wrap like we talked about, or you can put it in your piping bags the night before, because once it's in here, it's not getting any air in it. You just tie it off. All right, do you want to be my assistant?
I do, yes. Oh wait, I suck already.
They're hard. They're hard to hold.
Damn.
I know. I'm sure that people at home are gonna
What?
think that we're very much
This
amateurs.
is so
while we
hard.
do
I'll
this.
be honest with you guys. I never use piping bags. My baked desserts do not look nearly as cute as Robin's. I usually just like take a knife and
I guess technically you could do this with plastic bags, like the kind that you get produce
I've
in.
actually used and I've actually also used like just a Ziploc bag.
Oh yeah,
I've
or a
totally used
Ziploc
those.
bag, yeah.
I just cut like a little, I snip off a bit of one of the edges at the bottom, and then you can just kind of DIY it.
Yeah, so I've done that too. I prefer the clean edge that you get with these, but
Yeah.
I've definitely done it the other way and it's fine. How are we doing here?
Good, actually. This
Oh
is,
no! Good until
we
I
go.
just did that and ruined it all. Alright, we're almost there.
Okay.
Good. I kind of want to... I'm so worried now about running out because of what happened during our practice round, but I really did make a lot more this time.
Oh, sugar. Okay.
So cute. So cute and Canadian. Just love it. I love it. Alright, so I just use regular twist ties from like Bread or whatever, but I know that they do sell like more professional type clips that you can put at
Really?
the end. Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
I mean, they sell so many
We
things.
are going to tell you all of your budget options.
Yeah.
So if you have money to use on buying clips, that was actually cool. If not, I actually usually just hold it and get icing all over my hand. So I like this idea.
I've done that also. All right, so there's our blue. Where's the rest? Just kidding. Now that we finally got good at it. Sorry, I made a mess. I'm making a mess.
Do we get to
not leave that
Do we
in.
get to eat the leftover frosting?
Yeah, I think so. I think that's allowed. Okay.
Oh, that's good.
Whew. What's next on our agenda?
Well, we have to trim and ice and decorate.
Yeah, so we need to get the cakes out of the fridge.
So we're gonna go get the cakes.
Okay, so we have our cakes. They just came out of the fridge. So now they're nice and cool. And my first thing I like to do is just kind of look at them and see if they're even. And I can tell that some of them aren't and some of them are. So the ones that aren't even, I'm going to trim. So like this one I think looks uneven.
Oh yeah, it does actually.
It's even here but not on the top. So I'm going to trim it just a little. As well as I can.
This is actually optional. If you are not super, retentive about your cake being even, you don't have to do this. But if you want it to look cuter, then even is probably good.
I find that when I'm making multi-layer cakes,
it's gonna be like a leaning tower of cake if you don't make it even.
Yeah, but if you're not good at cutting, like I'm not, obviously, as you can see, you could end up just keep cutting until it's like super.
I think a little bit more right off there.
Yep. I think
Just
you're right.
that little baby bit.
It's like it doesn't want to come off.
No, there. That's good.
Okay, that is good. All right, so this will be our base. We start with a piece of parchment. I'm gonna move this over. Okay, so we start with a piece of parchment, and you want to do pink first?
Yes.
Okay. So we're just gonna cut a little hole at the bottom because when you buy these piping bags for the first time, they are closed. So let's see if that's a big enough hole. You can always make it bigger, but you can't always make it smaller. All right, so we'll put a dollop.
That looks good.
Okay. Okay.
That'll help your cake stay in the same spot too, by the way.
Yeah. Oh yeah, good point. Let people know why we did that. Good idea. And when I'm piping these circles of frosting, I don't go all the way to the edge because the next tier is smaller, right? All right, so which one is next? Should we use one that we don't have to trim?
This one looks level.
Yeah. All right. Oh, I might not have gone out enough though. That's okay. Pretty much this whole point of this part that we're doing, it's like glue. Like we're making a sculpture, we're gluing it together. That's like all we're doing.
Yeah, we just want it to hold together nicely.
Yeah. All right, so do another circle. All right.
This one's even.
Even test? She's right. She's so right. Wait, this isn't the next size.
Which one's the next size?
It's one of these three.
Oh, just kidding.
Let's use this one.
Yep. Just kidding.
All right. That's good. Oh man.
That's so cute.
It's going up. It's getting taller and taller.
Oh, you know what? Whenever I've seen sculpture cakes like this, I just assumed they were super complicated and I would never be able to make this by myself, but I feel like I could do this.
Well, the smaller ones are easier. I think the bigger ones you have to put sticks in.
Still though, I just never pictured being able to do anything like this. Super simple. Like this is doable.
Welcome to your new life.
It's exciting.
Where everything is doable.
It's exciting.
Okay, so we are going to put this in the freezer just for maybe like 10 minutes. Basically the amount of time that it takes us to build the other two sculptures. And then we'll get it back out. Okay, so if you're worried about this problem that you might see here where your cake goes this way.
Leaning tower of cake.
The leaning tower of cake. You can take one of these skewers. They sell them all over. And you can just like push it all the way in. This is what they do for wedding cakes, I think.
Oh, really?
They use dowels.
Oh.
That's how. Oh! It's okay. We're gonna cover that up with frosting.
That's right.
I'm trying to use this other one to get it all the way down. Oh no! Did I hit the bottom already?
That's okay. We can cover it with frosting.
Okay.
Yeah, it's great.
Are you sure?
Yeah, because it's
the frosting's gonna go that high?
The frosting
okay.
is gonna go that high for sure. Okay,
All
so
right.
let's trim the cake.
Okay, good idea.
So we're gonna try and make it look more like a tree shape. Keep in mind this is optional though. If you want it to be like a little round cake, you can leave it like that too. That's totally fine.
So much easier to do this after you freeze the cakes for a little while.
They're firmer, easier to work with.
When we did the practice, I tried to do this cutting part without having them go in the freezer first, and let's just say it didn't work out so well. Our tray is getting shorter!
Your fingers hungry.
I mean, they're mini cakes. Maybe it felt like it wasn't mini enough. It needed to be minier.
Miniature. I like that.
Like a minier mouse.
That's so cute. Oh my gosh. A mini tree. A miniature tree.
Oh no. Oh no no. Okay. We're getting along fine.
It's all good. It's all good.
Alright.
Oh, that's actually a really good shape.
Skinny. It's kind of skinny. No, you don't think it's too
No, I
skinny?
think it's really cute actually.
Okay.
And just keep in mind, now you have excess cake to eat.
Alright. So, should we frost it?
We should frost it.
I'm just gonna try to hug that little
Yeah, that's good.
stick a little bit. Okay. So we have our large piping bag fitted with our tip, and we have our small piping bag filled with our frosting, but the opening is really small on this, so I think we should fatten it up.
So again, keep in mind that if you don't have piping bags or tips, you can also just frost your cake with a good old butter knife and frosting, because that's totally how I would do this if I wasn't here with all of Robin's awesome, cute kitchen gear.
Yeah, maybe we should have done it that way.
So if you have trouble with the frosting sticking to the cake, because we were having this issue earlier, you might want to try just like, if you have a spray bottle, spraying it with a little bit of water. You don't want to over moisten it, but just a little bit. Or you can just, Robin's using a silicone brush, and we're just going to dab it with some water. This will just help keep the frosting on the cake a little better. Again, if you're just using a butter knife and frosting, you're probably not going to have this issue.
I kind of forgot where I started.
I think it was, yeah, no, I think that's, yeah, perfect.
Alright. Okay, so we're gonna start piping from the bottom up, but I've done it where I went around too, and that worked also. I think whatever your preference is. I'm just gonna have a little talk.
Okay.
Hi! What are you doing? Do you want to play? Do you want to come out and play?
Doesn't want to come out.
Okay, let's see how it's doing now.
Frosting malfunction.
This happens to everyone.
I mean, if it happened to me,
everyone.
I can guarantee that.
We're coming out. We're coming out.
Let's see. Do we just need to... Oh, that's okay. So the frosting bag just got a little bit foldy. So we're just going to attach it. Yeah, that's better. Okay. That's good that we go through these things with you, because then you know when you come up with things that don't work out, everybody
And you'll
has
be
issues.
like, oh, it's not just me. Robin and Kimmy have problems
right.
too.
Nobody's perfect. Oh, although this frosting is coming out perfectly. Oh, it's so good.
Alrighty. And since your tree is fatter on the bottom than it is on the top, some of the streaks, if you do the start at the bottom and work your way up method, won't go all the way up to the top. They'll stop halfway.
It's a really pretty color.
You're a really pretty color.
Oh, thank you.
Alright, so this one won't go all the way to the top. That's probably good. I'm kind of doing every other one. Every other one goes all the way to the top.
You can serve a little frosting that way.
Which is good because I think this recipe makes the exact amount of frosting that you need and definitely not any extra. And it's not like we've been sitting here eating it or anything.
I mean, maybe a little.
Actually, I think that one should go a bit. Alright, almost there. And I did this last time without a fancy spinning device. So if you don't have a fancy spinning thing in your life, it's okay. Last time I just used the parchment and spun it like that.
It works.
Fine. Yeah.
We can definitely make a lot of things without fancy kitchen equipment. Oh, that looks so good.
Like tasty or like pretty?
Both.
Okay.
Always both when you make it.
Alright, so there's our tree, our bulb tree. This is like we just got back from the Christmas tree lot. This is what we were given.
I would love a pink Christmas tree in your life.
They just grow this way. It's like a hybrid thing. It's like when you get the
Pink
purple tomatoes.
cauliflowers.
Yes. Okay, so we have these stars. But if you have like star candy, they make star gummies, the vegan ones.
Yeah.
But we couldn't find them at Whole Foods for some reason. I don't know if it's seasonal and the season hasn't started yet, or if
Probably.
Amazon's purchase of Whole Foods has made it inferior than it used to be, but this is what we've got. It is a cookie.
Robin actually made this star herself. It's super cute. You don't need a star. You can put whatever you want on the top. You could do like a marshmallow to be different.
Do you have a tree on Christmas? Have you ever had a tree?
Yeah, when I was growing up we did. Yeah, definitely.
So do you put the star on the top first or at the end? Because I just did it first and then I was like, did I even do that right?
I think we did put it on top first. Yeah, I think we would decorate the tree from the top to the bottom. Yeah.
Great, then we did this right. So we're not going to put lights on it because I don't want you to electrocute yourself when you eat the cake. But we are going to put some ornaments on it.
Okay, so we're decorating the tree now. Robin has these super cute little decorative pearls that we're using to mimic Christmas tree bulbs. Other things you can use to decorate your tree though, if you don't have anything this cute in your kitchen, again, I do not. You could use something like Unreal, those vegan M&M knockoffs, or Skittles actually would look fun. They might not taste as... might be a bit of weird taste, but they would look really pretty.
I think they would be delicious. I feel like you can mix just basically anything with chocolate and...
Actually, I was going to say you could crush up Numinos and put that on top if you wanted to. If you're looking for a healthier option, you could also blend up some unsweetened shredded coconut and then just kind of sprinkle it on top. It would kind of look like snow, just cute.
I think that that's like a very popular, like I feel like they sold spray snow when I was little.
Oh, they totally did, yeah.
That you could spray on your trees. Is that something people still do?
I mean, we don't do it in Canada because we have real snow. But I understand
In
how some people might want to look like they have snow. Once you live there, you don't want it anymore.
You don't want it?
No.
You don't want it in your house because it's outside of the house?
That's right.
That makes sense. So yeah, another one that's similar to the Unreal ones are the No-Nos.
Oh, No-Nos, yeah, that's right.
They made those vegan M&Ms also, I think.
Yeah, they're good options too.
Somebody needs to make some vegan Reese's Pieces.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Justin's. We're looking at you.
We're looking at you. So these ornaments that I'm using on this particular tree are vegan pearls made by Baking Time Club.
They're really cute. I mean, they look really good as Christmas tree ornaments.
Yeah, and we looked for vegan pearls at other companies that make vegan sprinkles.
Yeah.
So there's not very many companies that make these types of sprinkles vegan. And if you're ever looking for more information on vegan sprinkles, I have a whole list on vegandollhouse.com.
Mm-hmm. She has an extensive list. She's done a lot of research on vegan sprinkles.
It's true. Sometimes when the research isn't out there, you just have to do it yourself.
It's true.
All right, so I'm running out of the big
There's
ones.
one. That looks really
I think
good.
the big ones that look more like actual ornaments.
No, I think it looks good like that.
Should we stop there?
Yeah, I think it looks cute.
I'm gonna go one more on. Because, I'm decadent like that. All right.
Perfect.
So we do have these, but I think we don't need to use them, right?
The big ones look better.
Yeah. And some of the other types of ornaments we have these are called mini jawbreakers. So these are good too. They just don't come in pink, unfortunately, so they might as well not exist. Just kidding. And then should we put some glitter on our tooth?
Oh, actually, yeah, you have glitter? What is that?
It's edible glitter spray.
Of course Robin has edible glitter spray.
It's vegan. Probably not good for you, but you only use a little.
Oh my gosh, that's so cool. Okay, I like it. Oh, that's pretty.
This is the closest we can get to tinsel. Do people still use that tinsel stuff?
I don't know. I definitely used it when I was a kid.
I remember it when I was a kid
I
too.
love that stuff
But
when
I
I
don't
was a
think
kid.
I've seen it lately.
I don't know either. Me neither.
It's not cool anymore.
Maybe not. Maybe it was an 80s thing.
Ta-da! Ta-da!
Okay, so these are the finished cakes. These would make excellent, cute little holiday gifts for somebody. Please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe if you'd like to see more. We'd like to thank our adorable director and videographer, Ashley. If you had fun with us today, you can find Robin at vegandollhouse.com. You can find Ashley at theveganadventure.com.
And you can find Kimmy at rockmyvegansocks.com. We hope you've had fun dishing with us, and thanks for
Thanks for watching.